1 hour until kickoff, and the team news is out as West Ham United are trying to get back-to-back wins for the first time since January 2017. Gonzo's here. He doesn't know the lineup. I've got the lineup here. I'm going to read out, and we're going to get his reaction. I'm going to give you my own little opinion as well. Gonzo, there's been a lot of talk before the game about some players injured, rested, etc. There has been 3 changes to the lineup that beat Newcastle on Saturday, and all 3 are in the back 4. Alan Creswell, of course, went off injured against Newcastle, which means Arthur Masuaku has come in. Antonio has replaced Zabaleta, who's on the bench, so it's a rotation. It's resting Zabaleta. Antonio starts right back. And Ogbonna has come in for Balbuena, who has had a dead leg against Newcastle. And he should be okay for the Palace game, but he's not okay for tonight, Gonzo. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm pleased. I'm pleased. I thought tonight would hopefully be the easier game than against Crystal Palace at the weekend. So I would consider those to be enforced changes. Maybe I would have kept Zabaleta in and put Antonio up against Zaha or Townsend, regardless of whether they're switching wings. But to keep the rest of the team the same, I think it's quite good. I think it gives cohesion. There's nothing he could have done about Cresswell, nothing he could have done about Balbuena. So really, it's one change, and it's Zabaleta for Antonio. And I think we've got to trust Pellegrini. If that's how he decides he's going to rotate him over Christmas, then we've got to go with it. But I was thinking there'd be a lot more changes. He hinted at Wilshere, didn't he, as well?
Yeah. What about the changes, though? I know they might be forced, they might not be, but let's take away from that. Let's look at the actual changes. What players have come in? There's question marks over all 3 for me here, Goes. Masuaku, we know, hasn't performed well. Even when he came on against Newcastle, he was coming on to a team already winning 2-0, and he still didn't look great. Ogbonna, the last time we seen him was against Spurs in the Cup. He looked awful. He was at fault for 2 goals. And then, of course, Antonio, right back. We all know how that experiment worked under Bilic.
Well, it would be the Ogbonna one that would worry me more than any of them, because Masuaku, we don't have a choice. In many respects, right back, we had no choices, so he had to go sort of left of field, if you want. You know, that's a terrible term to use when you're talking about right back, but he had to do something out of the ordinary, and I guess he's decided to go with Antonio there. Maybe I can understand it as well, because they're a sort of strong, burly side, and he's a strong athletic player, Antonio. So hopefully his physical attributes will help make up for what he lacks in terms of defensive nous and positioning and stuff like that. I just think Balbuena and Diop have been, as I know you do, have been so brilliant recently. That's the one that really worries me, particularly when we are going to expect an aerial bombardment, which is going to be incoming. Hopefully we don't see him like he was against Tottenham, because you're right, he was absolutely appalling then.
Just for the rest of the team, it's 4 in midfield: Anderson, Noble, Rice, Snodgrass, Arnautovic is powering, Hernandez up front as it was. My concern at the back, Masuaku, I can take or give Masuaku. Okay? He is a left back. I don't care what he says on Instagram to West Ham fans. You were a left back in Greece. You were purchased as a left back. It was quite, everyone knew you were coming here as a left back. So if you've signed expecting to play anything but left back, then actually joke's on you and your agent, okay? Because you've made the fault here. But it is what it is. Ogbonna scares me. I don't think he's good in the air. I don't think he's good in the back 4. And this is what worries me a little bit. And not only has Ogbonna come in, Diop's had to go from the left to the right of the centre back. So arguably all 4 of our defenders have just changed a little bit tonight, which is not good. I don't like Ogbonna at back 4, and I really don't like him in the air whatsoever. He does not go for the ball. He'd rather try and stop his man getting the ball than actually attack the ball, which concerns me. Cardiff like to get the ball in the mixer. I can't remember how many it was. Against Wolves, they had something like 30 crosses in the game. That's like a cross every 3 minutes. That is a lot of crossing. And he's going to have to be at least the top of his game. If Neil Warnocks savvy, he's going to be saying to his striker, Patterson, stand beside Ogbonna for the whole game. Stand beside Ogbonna. You will win more than your fair share. And he will be saying to the other players, when the ball's in the air, getting beside Patterson, because he will beat Ogbonna. Them 2 really need to be disciplined tonight. And Diop has to try and be the one that marks Patterson there. Right back, now Antonio, people that have tuned into our channel for a long time will know I was a fan of Bilic. And actually, I never minded Antonio right back because I thought he has attributes to play it. I thought I could see what Bilic is trying to do. I blame Antonio's attitude on him not working at right back. Now, if Pellegrini can sort that, I actually think he could actually play all right as a right back. I think he can play right back. And Gonzo says about how we've got a more athletic right back there. If Antonio plays well tonight, it will give Pellegrini a headache for Palace on Saturday, because Zaha's playing left wing. And I would much rather see an athletic right back than Zabaleta, in all honesty, because I remember Selhurst Park when Zaha tore Zabaleta apart completely. He got booked. He had to get subbed off because it was either that or he was away to get a red card or something. Antonio's got a chance here to stake a claim and say, actually, Pellegrini, I'm starting on Saturday at right back. He has a chance. It's up to him. But you're happy with the lineup overall before we have a quick look at the Cardiff one?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think we can talk about our defence all we want. They got to worry about us. They're going to have to worry about Arnautovic and Chicharito up front. They have to worry about Anderson running at them as well. So, yeah, I think we should be looking to cause them problems.
It looks like Cardiff are playing a 4-5-1. Not what they played when they beat Wolves. They switched to a 3-5-2 when they played Wolves, but they're going back to a 4-5-1. More defensive from Neil Warnock, as we've seen at Goodison Park, where they nearly held out to a 0-0 against Everton. Etheridge is in goal. Bennett is left back with Bamba and Morrison in the middle. Then Ekiul right back. And he's 5 across the middle. He's got Junior Hoylett, Harry Arter, Gunnarsson, Rawls, Camarasa on the right wing. Then up front, he's got Patterson. Anything in there that worries you, Gonzo, or do you think on paper we really need to be picking up 3 points tonight?
Well, I don't. You've just read out that 5 in midfield. Not one of them would get into our team, and certainly the strikers wouldn't either. So, I mean, you might argue with things, you know, across the back. But that's because we've got 3 players missing tonight. So, no, we shouldn't be worried about them. I said the same before Newcastle, and I won't continue to repeat that all season. There will be games that we face teams where I will worry, but we have a run of games now where we should be looking to get not maximum points, because that's silly and probably not going to happen. But, you know, in the May, you know, the next 5-6 games, we should be looking to get lots and lots of points. And this is certainly one of them. It's a home game. As you said when we spoke last night, this is a really good opportunity for us to, you know, get back-to-back wins and to start getting a little bit of the fear factor, if you like, into the London Stadium. So, no, I don't fear anything. I mean, we go for them. What I would be mindful of, we were quite swashbuckling and quite good against Newcastle. Obviously, Cardiff, by the sounds of it, there's not going to be the space in behind them to run into that there was against Newcastle. They're not going to be playing that same high line. So they may be quite frustrating to break down. The counter-attack is not going to be there. So we will have a lot more possession than we did the other day. But it just means we're going to have to do something a little bit flamboyant, a little bit brilliant, maybe a long shot, or, you know, something crafty to work the ball to Hernandez in the box. We're going to have to be quite bright today to break them down, but we've got some bright players.
I have to agree with that. Actually, I think Cardiff are removing the pace from our team a little bit by saying, actually, we'll sit back and see what you've got. And as we know, Neil Warnock's a man, does his homework. He will have looked at the Brighton game and the Huddersfield game, thought, how have they got something against West Ham? Okay, they've sat on the edge of the 18-yarder and West Ham have struggled a bit. They're going to come and do that today. We've got 4 in midfield. They're outnumbering us. They've got 5 in there. If they can, they will be 100% up for this. I think this game is much tougher than the Newcastle one on Saturday. It's easy with hindsight after winning 3-0, but Newcastle I don't think they were up for it, but Cardiff will be. They will try and turn this game into a battle. That concerns me a great deal, actually, in terms of defensively. But on paper, we have to be looking at 3 points and nothing but 3 points. We've spent 100 million in the summer. Pellegrini has to be getting results from this. This is the bread and butter games. This is the games Pellegrini has to be winning. No excuses. And the bench, Adriano, as always. Diangana is back on the bench. Obiang's there. Zabaleta is there. Balbuena makes the bench despite having the dead leg from Newcastle. Andy Carroll and Lucas Perez. The only one missing is Jack Wilshere. There's no Jack Wilshere in the squad, despite receiving praise from Pellegrini's press conference. Do you think maybe, Gonzo, he's got one eye on Crystal Palace, or do you think he's injured again already?
I don't know, maybe he meant 100 million rupees instead of 100 million pounds or euros or whatever it was. I don't know. It's a hard one to read. Let's just... Does it
concern you, though? We're talking about they're going to be hard to break down. He is our most creative centre midfielder without a shadow of a doubt, and he's not on the bench. We do have Diangana, Perez and Carroll, of course, but you'd have liked to have had the option of Jack Wilshere if come the hour mark it's 0-0 and we're struggling.
Yeah, I immediately thought that when you went on to say what you just said about the about breaking them down and whatnot, and it being harder than the Newcastle game. I did think, well, at least we can bring Wilshere off the bench. But as you said at the start of the show, I don't know the lineup when we start these things. Yeah, that's a slight concern. Why would he be doing that? I don't know. Let's just hope we see him feature in a match day squad for the Crystal Palace game. Otherwise, he has relapsed back into injury again, and that's not a good thing. But you know what? Hopefully not. Hopefully he's just mixing the deck of cards up a bit, and we'll see him back for the next one, you know?
In the preview, Gonzo, I think you predicted 2-0. Are you sticking to that, or are you changing?
No, I'll still stick with 2-0. I got a bit excited in the preview and suggested that it could be 4-0. I think looking at that and bearing in mind what I said about them not having the same high line, I think 2-0 would be a fair prediction. I'll go and put me 50 pence on now on the betting.
I'm going to say 2-1. Actually, I said 3-1 in preview. I'm going to come down to 2-1. Our defence worries me tonight. Any Premier League team, unless you're Man City, any Premier League team that has to make 3 changes to their back 4 should struggle their next game. It should be a struggle for them. I'm not saying Pellegrini's already got his excuses, but if I was Neil Warnock, if I was Patterson of Cardiff, I'd be licking my lips a little bit here, thinking this is an opportunity here to get in about them. But anyway, you guys let us know your predictions below. Me and Gonzo will be doing a review straight after the game, live, straight after full time on the other channel. Links in the description. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. We'll be trying to keep doing more of these as the season goes on. Subscribe if you're new around here, and we'll catch you straight after full time. Hopefully celebrating 3 points and back-to-back wins for West Ham for the first time since January 2007.